I am Natasha, your host for today. If you are new here, I would like to tell you that we upload new English learning videos regularly to help you improve your English faster. In today's episode, you will not only improve your English listening skills, but also your speaking and your everyday fluency. Today's lesson is very special because we're going to explore 225 English words and phrases that Americans use every single day, and that you can use too to become more fluent and confident in English. These are the kinds of words and expressions you'll hear in daily life, at the grocery store, at work, when chatting with friends, ordering food, traveling, or just making small talk. By the end of this lesson, you'll not only understand what these words and phrases mean, but you'll also know how to use them naturally in your own conversations. We will go through real-life examples, practice exercises, and repeat after me sections to help you train your ear, your tongue, and your confidence, step by step. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon if you want more helpful English learning episodes like this. So, grab a pen and paper, let's get started. Hello again, and let's dive right into our lesson. The first thing you need to remember is that everyday English is not about complicated grammar or long fancy words. It's about natural phrases that people use in daily life. These are the words that make conversations sound smooth, friendly, and confident. Let's start with something very common, the word hi. In American English, hi is probably the most universal way of greeting someone. It's shorter than hello, and it feels warm and casual. Try it with me now. Repeat after me. Hi, hi, hi. Notice how short and quick it is. You can say it to your neighbor, to a friend, or even to a cashier when you walk into a store. Now, let's practice in a mini conversation. I'll say one line, and you repeat. Hi, how are you? Good. And now reply. Hi, I'm good, thanks. Perfect. That's the kind of exchange you'll hear every single day in America. And the more you practice, the more natural it will sound. Another common greeting is, hey. Americans use hey a lot, especially with friends. It's even more casual than hi. Imagine your friend walks into the room. You can simply say, hey, what's up? Let's practice that together. Repeat after me. Hey, what's up? Great. Now answer. Not much, just relaxing. Excellent. So, practice these two greetings, hi and hey, and you'll already sound more natural. But greetings don't stop there. A very American phrase you'll hear often is, how's it going? This is another way of asking, how are you? But it feels more casual, like you're checking in on someone's day. Repeat after me slowly. How's it going? Good. Now let's use it in practice. I'll ask you, hey, how's it going? And you answer, it's going well, thanks. Try again with a different answer. Not bad. How about you? Beautiful. These are the little exchanges that make your English feel alive and natural. Here's another phrase. What's up? This one doesn't literally mean what is above you. It's just a friendly way to ask. How are you? Or what are you doing? Most of the time, the answer is simple. People might just say, not much, or just working. Let's practice. I'll say, "What's up?" And you answer, "Not much, just studying English." Good. Again. "What's up?" And you reply, "Just hanging out." Excellent practice. Now, let's move into polite everyday phrases. One of the most important words in American English is thanks. People say it all the time, even for small things. If someone holds the door open for you, you say, "Thanks." If the waiter brings your food, you say, "Thanks." It's short, simple, but powerful. Repeat after me. Thanks. Thanks. You can also say, "Thank you," which is a little more formal but still very common. And when you want to show even more appreciation, you can say, "Thanks a lot," or "Thanks so much." Let's practice together. Thanks a lot for your help. Thanks so much for calling me. Wonderful. And of course, when someone says thanks to you, the natural American reply is, "You're welcome." Say it with me. You're welcome. It's polite. It's kind. And it makes conversations feel complete. Try it out. I'll say, "Thanks for helping me." And you reply, "You're welcome." Great job. Another very American reply is simply, "No problem." People use this as a casual way of saying, "You're welcome." Let's practice. I'll say, "Thanks for the coffee." And you answer, "No problem." Excellent. Now, let's practice a short role play together. Imagine this scene. I hand you a pen. I say, "Here's a pen." You say, "Thanks." And I reply, "No problem." That's it. Simple, but natural. These small exchanges are the building blocks of fluency. Let's add one more phrase for today's practice set. Excuse me. This is used in so many daily situations. If you bump into someone by accident, you say, "Excuse me." If you need to get someone's attention politely, you say, "Excuse me." If you want to walk past someone in a crowded place, you say, "Excuse me." Practice with me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Good. Now let's try it in context. You're at the grocery store, and you need to pass by someone with a shopping cart. You say, "Excuse me, can I get through?" The other person says, "Oh, sure, go ahead." That's exactly how it happens in real life. So, in this first practice set, we've already covered some of the most common words and phrases Americans use every day. Hi, hey, how's it going? What's up? Thanks. You're welcome. No problem. Excuse me. These may feel simple, but trust me, they are the foundation of fluent, confident English. Keep repeating them with me. Keep practicing them in little role plays, and they'll soon become part of your natural speech. Now that you've practiced some of the most basic but powerful greetings and polite expressions, let's keep moving into more everyday phrases that you'll hear constantly in American conversations. Remember, fluency is not just about knowing complicated vocabulary. It's about mastering these small, natural exchanges that make you sound confident and relaxed when you speak. One of the most common phrases you'll hear is, "How are you?" This is the classic way to start a conversation. But in American English, people don't always expect a long answer. The usual replies are short, friendly, and quick. You might say, "I'm good, thanks," or "I'm fine, how about you?" Or even just, "Good, thanks." Let's practice together. I'll ask, How are you? And you answer, I'm good, thanks. And you? Excellent. Again, how are you? And this time you say, I'm doing fine. How about you? Perfect. Another very common phrase is, have a good day. Americans use this all the time when they finish a short interaction, especially with strangers or service workers. For example, after paying at a store, the cashier might say, have a good day. And you can reply, thanks, you too. Let's practice. I'll say, have a good day. And you answer, thanks, you too. Beautiful. These little exchanges show politeness and friendliness in everyday life. Now, let's look at the phrase, take care. This is another way to say goodbye in American English. It feels kind and warm. You might say it when leaving a friend, or even at the end of a phone call. Repeat after me, take care. Great. Now let's use it in practice. I'll say, bye, see you later, and you add, okay, take care. Wonderful. Let's also practice some phrases you'll hear when meeting new people. The first one is, nice to meet you. When you're introduced to someone for the first time, this is the polite thing to say. For example, hi, I'm Natasha. Nice to meet you. And the other person usually replies, nice to meet you too. Practice this with me. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Very natural. If you're meeting someone again, not for the first time, you can say, nice to see you. This is a little different because it shows you already know the person. For example, hi John, nice to see you again. And the reply is usually, nice to see you too. Repeat after me. Nice to see you. Good. Now, another super common phrase is, see you later. Americans say this all the time when parting, even if they're not sure they'll actually see the person later that same day. It's just a casual way to say goodbye. Try it with me. See you later? Great. And you can also shorten it to see ya. That one sounds even more relaxed and friendly. Let's practice that too. See ya. Excellent. Let's create a short practice dialogue using these expressions. Imagine this. I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Natasha. Nice to meet you. You reply, nice to meet you too. Then I say, well, I have to go now. See you later. And you reply, okay, take care. Beautiful. That sounds just like real life. Now, let's add some phrases people use in daily situations when they need help. One of the most important ones is, can you help me? Americans use this often, and it's very polite. For example, excuse me, can you help me find this address? Let's practice together. Repeat after me. Can you help me? Great. Now, let's try another version. Could you help me, please? That one is slightly more polite, but both are common. When someone asks you for help, a natural American response is, sure, or, of course, or, no problem. Let's practice that role play. I say, can you help me? And you reply, sure. Again, could you help me, please? And you say, of course. Perfect. Now here's another phrase that is used constantly. I don't know. Americans say this all the time when they are unsure, but notice how they often shorten it in everyday speech. It becomes, I don't know. Practice both with me. I don't know. I don't know. Excellent. And the opposite, when you do know, is simply, I know. But in casual speech, you might even hear people say, I know, right? That phrase is used when you agree strongly with someone. For example, if someone says, this weather is so hot, you can reply, I know, right? It shows that you completely agree. Let's practice that. This movie is so good. And you answer, I know, right? Great. Let's now focus on a phrase used when you don't understand something. That phrase is, I don't get it. Americans use get as a synonym for understand. So if you don't understand something, instead of saying, I don't understand, you might say, I don't get it. Try that with me. I don't get it. Good. And for the opposite, when you do understand, you can say, got it. That's short and natural. Let's practice. I'll explain something, and then you say, got it. Ready? Turn left at the corner and then go straight. And you reply, got it. Perfect. Now, let's do a quick fluency drill together with these phrases. I'll give you one situation, and you'll reply with the phrase that fits. Ready? You meet someone new? What do you say? That's right. Nice to meet you. You don't understand a math problem. What do you say? I don't get it. Someone tells you the directions clearly. What do you say? Got it? Excellent practice. Now let's move into phrases you'll hear very often when you go out to eat, order something, or talk in shops and restaurants. These are some of the most useful expressions because they come up in real life almost every day. One of the most common is, can I get? In American English, this is a very natural way to order food or drinks. For example, at a cafe you might say, can I get a coffee, please? Or at a restaurant, can I get the chicken salad? Notice how natural it sounds. Repeat after me slowly. Can I get a coffee, please? Good. Now practice with another example. Can I get a bottle of water? Excellent. Another phrase is I'll have. This is also used for ordering. For example, I'll have the cheeseburger. Or, I'll have a large latte. Repeat after me. I'll have the cheeseburger. Perfect. Now try. I'll have the soup, please. Nicely done. Here's another phrase you'll hear when ordering. To go. In America, when you order food and you want to take it with you instead of eating in the restaurant, you say, to go. For example, can I get a sandwich to go? Repeat that after me. Can I get a sandwich to go? Great. And if you want to eat inside the restaurant, you might hear the phrase for here. For example, the cashier may ask, for here or to go? And you can answer, for here, please. Practice with me. For here, please. Excellent. Now, when you're ready to pay, one very common phrase is, check, please. This is how you ask for the bill in a restaurant in America. Say it with me. Check, please. Good. Another variation is, can we get the check, please? That's also very polite and natural. And of course, when someone brings your food or serves you, it's always polite to say, thank you. And when they say, enjoy your meal, a natural reply is, thanks, you too. Even though they're not eating, it's a polite automatic response. Americans do this all the time. Let's practice a mini restaurant dialogue together. Imagine this scene. You walk into a cafe, you say, hi, can I get a latte to go? The cashier says, sure, anything else? You reply, no, that's all, thanks. Later, when you're done, you say, "Check, please." That's exactly how it happens in real life, and now you can practice it step by step. Another phrase you'll hear constantly in shops is, "How much is this?" This is the natural way to ask for the price. Repeat after me. How much is this? Good. Now imagine you're holding a shirt. You ask the shop assistant, "Excuse me, how much is this shirt?" Perfect. Sometimes you'll also hear, "Do you take cards?" This is a very common question in America. When you want to pay with a credit card or debit card, repeat after me. Do you take cards? Excellent. And the answer might be, yes, we take Visa and MasterCard. Or sometimes, sorry, cash only. Another phrase that's extremely useful is, "Can I try this on?" You use this in clothing stores when you want to check if clothes fit you. For example, "Can I try this jacket on?" Repeat that with me. "Can I try this on?" Great. And the answer you'll hear is usually, "Yes, the fitting rooms are over there." And when you're done shopping, you'll often hear, "Would you like a bag?" This is very common at stores. A natural answer is either, "Yes, please," or "No, thanks." Let's practice that quickly. I'll ask you, "Would you like a bag?" And you answer, "Yes, please." Now again, "Would you like a bag?" And this time you say, "No, thanks." Wonderful. Now let's create another short, real-life role play. You're at the store. You ask, "Excuse me, how much is this sweater?" The cashier says, "It's $25." You reply, "Okay, can I try it on?" The cashier says, "Yes, the fitting rooms are over there." After trying it, you go to the counter and say, "Do you take cards?" The cashier says, "Yes, we do." Then they ask, "Would you like a bag?" And you reply, "No, thanks." That's exactly the kind of daily English you'll need in real life. Now let's move into some polite small talk phrases. In America, people often use small talk as a way to be friendly, even with strangers. One of the most common is "nice weather today." This is often said when meeting someone outside or in casual situations. Repeat after me. Nice weather today. Good. And a natural reply is, "Yeah, it's beautiful." Another small talk phrase is, "It's so hot today," or "It's really cold today." These are very common conversation starters. Repeat with me. "It's so hot today." "It's really cold today." Great. Now reply with something like, "I know, right?" Or, "Yeah, it's freezing." Another phrase Americans often use is, "What do you do?" This means, "What is your job?" Repeat after me. What do you do? And a natural answer is, "I'm a student," or "I work in an office," or "I'm a teacher." Let's practice. I'll ask, "What do you do?" And you answer with your own example, like, "I'm an engineer." Perfect. Now let's explore some of the most common American phrases used when making plans with friends or family. These are very important because they're part of everyday social conversations. One of the most useful phrases is, "Do you want to?" Americans often start invitations this way. For example, "Do you want to grab lunch tomorrow?" Or, "Do you want to watch a movie tonight?" Repeat with me. Do you want to grab lunch tomorrow? Good. Another example. Do you want to go for a walk? Excellent. Now, a slightly more casual version is wanna. Instead of saying, "Do you want to?" Americans often shorten it to wanna. For example, "Wanna hang out?" Or "Wanna get some coffee?" Let's practice. Wanna hang out? Good. Want to get some coffee? Perfect. When someone invites you, you might reply with, sure, sounds good. Or, yeah, why not? Or, that works for me. Repeat those after me. Sure, sounds good. Yeah, why not? That works for me. Great. Of course, sometimes you can't accept and you'll need polite ways to say no. In American English, a common polite way is, sorry, I can't, or maybe next time, let's practice those. Sorry, I can't, maybe next time. Nicely done. Now let's try a short role play. I'll invite you, and you answer. Ready? Hey, do you want to go to the park later? You might say, sure, sounds good. Perfect. Now again. Hey, wanna grab dinner tonight? This time you say, sorry, I can't, maybe next time. Excellent practice. Another useful phrase when making plans is, what time? After someone invites you, you often ask, what time? Repeat after me. What time? Good. And the reply could be, let's meet at 7, or how about 3 p.m.? Practice this. I'll say, do you want to meet tomorrow? You ask, what time? And I reply, at 2 o'clock. Great. Now let's add, where should we meet? This is very common in American conversations when arranging to meet someone. Repeat with me, where should we meet? Good. And the answer might be, let's meet at the cafe, or at the library. Here's a full mini dialogue for practice. I say, do you want to see a movie tomorrow? You reply, sure, sounds good. Then you ask, what time? I say, let's meet at 6. You then ask, where should we meet? And I answer, at the theater entrance. Perfect. That's a real, everyday American exchange. Now let's talk about another phrase Americans use constantly with friends. Let's hang out. This means to spend time together casually. Repeat after me. Let's hang out. Good. And you can make it more specific. Let's hang out this weekend. Let's hang out after class. Excellent. And when you want to agree with that idea, you can say, sure, I'd love to. Or, sounds fun. Repeat those with me. Sure, I'd love to. Sounds fun. Great. Another phrase used when arranging plans is, I'm in. This is sure. And for I'm interested or I want to join. For example, if someone says, we're going to the beach this Saturday, you can reply, I'm in. Let's practice that. I'm in. Perfect. Now let's add some casual phrases people use when they're busy. One common phrase is, I can't make it. This means you can't attend something. For example, sorry, I can't make it to the meeting. Or, I can't make it tonight. Repeat after me. I can't make it. Good. Another phrase is, I'll let you know. This is often used when you're not sure about your schedule. For example, I'm not sure if I can come. I'll let you know. Repeat that with me. I'll let you know. Excellent. Let's practice with another role play. I say, hey, do you want to go to the concert this Friday? You reply, I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. Good. Now again. Do you want to come to the party on Saturday? You reply, sorry, I can't make it. Great work. Now let's move into daily life phrases that Americans use to express how they feel about plans. A very common one is, I'm looking forward to it. This shows excitement about something in the future. For example, we're meeting tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Repeat that with me. I'm looking forward to it. Good. Another phrase is, can't wait. This is a shorter, more casual way of saying you're excited. For example, the weekend is almost here, can't wait. Try it with me, can't wait. Excellent. Now let's build another practice scene. I invite you. Do you want to go to the festival next week? You reply, sure, I'd love to. Then you add, I'm looking forward to it. Wonderful. That's exactly how Americans speak in real life. Now let's move into phrases you'll hear all the time when traveling, commuting, or running errands. These situations are a huge part of daily life, so knowing the right words and expressions will make you sound more fluent and confident wherever you go. One of the most common phrases when asking for directions is, where is? For example, excuse me, where is the bus stop? Or, where is the nearest bank? Repeat after me. Where is the bus stop? Good. Where is the nearest bank? Excellent. Now, Americans also often say, how do I get to? This is another very common way to ask for directions. For example, how do I get to the train station? Repeat that with me. How do I get to the train station? Perfect. And when someone gives you directions, you may hear phrases like, go straight, turn left, turn right, or it's around the corner. Let's practice those together. Go straight, turn left, turn right, it's around the corner. Great job. Now, imagine a short role play. I'll be the stranger giving you directions. You ask me, excuse me, how do I get to the library? I say, go straight 2 blocks, then turn right. It's around the corner. And you reply, got it, thanks. That's exactly how a real American conversation would sound. Another important phrase when traveling is, how long does it take? You use this to ask about time. For example, how long does it take to get to the airport? Repeat after me. How long does it take to get to the airport? Great. And the answer could be, about 30 minutes. Let's add another very common travel phrase. How much is the ticket? You'll use this at stations, airports, or when buying bus tickets. Repeat after me. How much is the ticket? Good. And the answer might be, it's $5. And when traveling in America, one phrase you'll hear all the time is, next stop. On buses or trains, the announcement often says, next stop, Main Street. Repeat with me. Next stop. Good. Now, let's practice some phrases for grocery shopping. A very common one is, do you have, for example, do you have almond milk? Or, do you have fresh bread? Repeat those after me. Do you have almond milk? Do you have fresh bread? Excellent. Another phrase is, where can I find? For example, where can I find the eggs? Or, where can I find toothpaste? Repeat with me. Where can I find the eggs? Where can I find toothpaste? Very natural. And when you go to pay, you'll often hear, will that be all? The cashier asks this to check if you're done shopping. A typical reply is, yes, that's all, thanks. Or, no, I also need a bag of chips. Let's practice. I'll ask, will that be all? And you answer, yes, that's all, thanks. Perfect. Another phrase used at the checkout is, do you need a bag? And you can answer, yes, please. Or, no thanks. Practice that with me. Do you need a bag? Yes, please. Again. Do you need a bag? No thanks. Wonderful. Now let's do a quick role play for grocery shopping. You ask, "Excuse me, where can I find the cereal?" The worker replies, "It's in aisle 3. Then at checkout, the cashier asks, "Will that be all?" You say, "Yes, that's all, thanks." And then, "Do you need a bag?" You reply, "No thanks." Perfect. This is daily English you'll use again and again. Now let's look at phrases used for transportation and commuting. A very common one is, "How much is the fare?" You might use this for taxis, buses, or trains. Repeat with me. How much is the fare? Good. Another phrase is, "Can you take me to?" For example, when you get into a taxi, you can say, "Can you take me to the airport?" Repeat that with me. Can you take me to the airport? Excellent. And sometimes you'll want to ask, "Can you drop me off here?" This is a very natural way to ask the driver to stop. Repeat after me. Can you drop me off here? Great. Now imagine this role play. You get into a taxi and say, "Can you take me to the train station?" The driver says, "Sure." Then halfway there you say, "Can you drop me off here?" That's exactly how it would happen in real life. And finally, one more travel phrase. Is this seat taken? You'll use this on buses, trains, or in public places. Repeat after me. Is this seat taken? Good. And the answer could be, "No, go ahead," or "Yes, sorry." Let's practice that. I'll ask, "Is this seat taken?" You reply, "No, go ahead." Again, "Is this seat taken?" This time you answer, "Yes, sorry." Wonderful practice. Now let's move into the language of home life and daily routines. These are the phrases you'll use all the time with family, roommates, or close friends you live with. One of the most common phrases at home is, "I'm home." When Americans walk into their house or apartment, they often call out, "I'm home." It's a way of letting others know they've arrived. Repeat with me, "I'm home." Good. And a natural reply from someone inside is, "Welcome back," or "Hey, how was your day?" Let's practice that. I'll say, "I'm home," and you reply, "Welcome back." Excellent. Another very common phrase is, "I'm leaving." This is used when you're about to go out. For example, before going to school or work, you might say, "I'm leaving now." And the reply could be, "Okay, see you later." Practice with me. "I'm leaving now." Good. Another everyday home phrase is, "I'm hungry," or "I'm thirsty." These are very natural ways to express basic needs. Repeat after me. "I'm hungry." "I'm thirsty." Excellent. And the reply might be, "What do you want to eat?" Or, "There's water in the fridge." Now let's try a little role play. Imagine this. You come into the kitchen and say, "I'm hungry." Your roommate replies, "Do you want some pizza?" And you say, "Sure, thanks." That's exactly how it would happen in real life. Another useful home phrase is, "What's for dinner?" This is a very American question in families. Children often ask their parents, "What's for dinner?" Repeat with me, "What's for dinner?" Great. And the reply might be, "We're having pasta tonight." Now let's add, "I'm tired." This is another phrase you'll use daily. Repeat after me. "I'm tired." Good. And you can also say, "I need some rest," or "I need a nap." Practice tea. Hose too. I need some rest. I need a nap. Excellent. When talking about daily routines, you'll often use phrases like, I'm getting ready, or I'm going to bed. For example, I'm getting ready for work, or I'm going to bed now, good night. Repeat after me. I'm getting ready. I'm going to bed now. Perfect. Now let's focus on some small but important family phrases. One of the most common is I love you. Americans say this to family members very often. Repeat it with me. I love you. Good. And the reply is usually, I love you too. Practice that exchange. I love you. I love you too. Excellent. Another very American phrase is, good night. This is what people say before going to sleep. Repeat after me. Good night. Great. And often people add, sleep well, or sweet dreams. Practice those. Sleep well, sweet dreams. Wonderful. Now, let's add some everyday routine phrases like I'll do the dishes or I'll take out the trash. These are very common in households. Repeat with me. I'll do the dishes. I'll take out the trash. Good. And the reply might be, thanks, I appreciate it. Here's another useful one. Can you help me with this? At home, people often ask for help with chores or tasks. Repeat with me. Can you help me with this? Excellent. And the answer is usually, sure, no problem. Let's try a short family role play. You say, I'm tired, I need a nap. Your friend replies, okay, I'll do the dishes. You respond, thanks, I appreciate it. This is exactly the type of English that keeps conversations natural and polite in everyday home life. Now let's add some phrases for mornings. A very common one is, wake up. Parents say this to children, or friends might use it playfully. Repeat after me. Wake up. Good. And the reply could be, I'm awake, or 5 more minutes. Practice those. I'm awake. 5 more minutes. Excellent. And of course, in the morning, people say, good morning. This is probably one of the most used phrases every day. Repeat with me. Good morning. Good. And a natural reply is simply morning or good morning. Now let's look at phrases for evenings. The classic one is good evening. But in daily casual life, Americans often just say hi or hey in the evening too. Then, before sleep, they say good night. Let's practice the flow together. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wonderful. Another everyday phrase is see you tomorrow. This is very common with family or friends at the end of the day. Repeat with me, see you tomorrow. Great. And the reply is, see you, or see you then. Now let's do a mini routine role play for practice. In the morning you say, good morning. The reply is, morning, did you sleep well? You say, yes, I did, thanks. Later in the evening you say, I'm going to bed now, good night. And the reply is, good night, sweet dreams. This is everyday English at home, and it's very important for sounding natural and comfortable. Now, let's move into phrases you'll hear every single day at school, at work, or in office environments. These are very important because so much of life is spent in these places, and knowing the right words will help you sound confident and professional. One of the most common school phrases is, I have a question. Students use this all the time with teachers. Repeat after me. I have a question. Good. Another similar phrase is, can you explain this? For example, can you explain this exercise? Practice that too. Can you explain this? Excellent. When you don't know the answer in class, you might say, I'm not sure. Repeat with me. I'm not sure. Good. And if you do know, you can say, I think the answer is. For example, I think the answer is number 3. Let's practice. I think the answer is number 3. Now let's switch to phrases that teachers or colleagues might use. One very common one is, let's get started. This is often said at the beginning of class or a meeting. Repeat after me. Let's get started. Great. Another is, let's take a break. You'll hear this in both schools and offices. Repeat that too. Let's take a break. In American offices, one of the most common phrases is, how's it going? Colleagues use this as a friendly greeting. Practice with me. How's it going? Good. And you can reply with, pretty good, thanks. Or, not bad, how about you? Another phrase you'll hear constantly in offices is, let's have a meeting, or, we need to meet about this. Repeat after me. Let's have a meeting. We need to meet about this. Excellent. Now let's add, can you send me an email? This is very common in professional settings. Repeat with me. Can you send me an email? Good. And the reply could be, sure, I'll send it today. Another useful work phrase is, I'll get back to you. This means you'll respond later with more information. For example, I don't know the answer right now, but I'll get back to you. Repeat after me. I'll get back to you. Excellent. Now, let's try a short office role play. I say, can you send me the report? You reply, sure, I'll send it today. Then I say, thanks, I'll get back to you after I read it. That's a natural office conversation. Another everyday office phrase is, let's work on this together. Repeat with me. Let's work on this together. Good. And another common one is, I'll take care of it. This means you'll handle the task. Repeat that. I'll take care of it. Now let's focus on phrases for asking and giving permission. One very common one is, can I leave early today? Repeat with me. Can I leave early today? Good. And the reply might be, yes, that's fine, or sorry, not today. Another phrase is it okay if, for example, is it okay if I call you later? Or, is it okay if I sit here? Repeat that. Is it okay if I call you later? Excellent. Now let's do a school practice scene. You raise your hand and say, I have a question. The teacher replies, go ahead. You say, can you explain this problem? The teacher answers, sure, let me explain. That's exactly how it happens in class. And let's do an office practice scene. Your colleague says, how's it going? You reply, pretty good, thanks. How about you? Then they say, can you send me an email with the details? You reply, sure, I'll take care of it. They say, great, I'll get back to you after the meeting. That's a typical American office conversation. Finally, one more very common work phrase is, let's call it a day. This is used when the work is finished for now. Repeat after me. Let's call it a day. Good. And the reply is usually something like, okay, see you tomorrow. Practice that with me. Let's call it a day. Okay, see you tomorrow. Wonderful. Now let's talk about everyday phrases you'll hear in casual conversations with friends. These are the words that make you sound more natural, friendly, and connected in daily life. One of the most common ways to share your opinion is with the phrase, I think. For example, I think this restaurant is great, or I think we should go now. Repeat after me. I think this restaurant is great. I think we should go now. Good. Another way to share opinions is, in my opinion, this sounds a little more formal, but it's still used often. For example, in my opinion, that movie was too long. Repeat after me. In my opinion, that movie was too long. Excellent. A more casual way that Americans use is simply saying, I feel like, for example, I feel like watching a movie, or I feel like having pizza tonight. Repeat those. I feel like watching a movie. I feel like having pizza tonight. Perfect. Now let's add some phrases for agreeing with friends. A very common one is, that's true. Repeat with me. That's true. Good. Another is, I know, right? This shows strong agreement and is very American. For example, if your friend says, this pizza is amazing, you reply, I know, right? Practice that. I know, right? Excellent. When you want to disagree politely, you can say, I don't think so, or I'm not sure about that. Repeat after me. I don't think so. I'm not sure about that. Nicely done. Now let's practice with a short friend dialogue. I say, that movie was awesome. You reply, I know, right? Now again, I say, we should stay here all night. You reply, I don't think so. I'm tired. Perfect. Now let's practice giving compliments, which Americans use very often. One of the most common phrases is, you look great. Repeat with me. You look great. Good. Another is, I like your shirt, or I love your shoes. Practice those. I like your shirt. I love your shoes. Wonderful. Another compliment is, good job, or nice work. People say these at school, at work, or with friends when they do something well. Repeat with me. Good job. Nice work. Excellent. And of course, another friendly phrase is, that's awesome. Americans say this a lot to show excitement or support. Repeat after me. That's awesome. Great. You can also say, that's amazing, or that's cool. Practice those. That's amazing. That's cool. Now let's practice with a short role play. Imagine your friend shows you a drawing. You say, wow, that's awesome. Good job. Or your friend buys a new jacket. You say, I love your jacket. You look great. This is natural, everyday English. You'll hear and use all the time. Now let's add some everyday phrases for talking about feelings. The simplest ones are, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm excited, I'm bored, I'm tired. Repeat those with me. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm excited, I'm bored, I'm tired. Great job! Americans also use phrases like, I'm really into, to show interest. For example, I'm really into music, or I'm really into sports. Repeat after me. I'm really into music. I'm really into sports. Excellent. Another phrase is, I'm not really into, to show you're not interested. For example, I'm not really into horror movies. Repeat that. I'm not really into horror movies. Perfect. Now let's practice with another short dialogue. I say, do you want to watch a scary movie? You reply, I'm not really into horror movies. Good. Another one. I say, we're going to a concert this weekend. You reply, I'm excited. I'm really into music. Excellent practice. Finally, let's add some casual, everyday phrases that make conversations sound more friendly. Phrases like, no way. Are you serious? That's crazy. These are all very common reactions in American English. Repeat with me. No way. Are you serious? That's crazy. Let's practice one more scene. Your friend says, I just won a free trip to New York. You reply, no way, that's awesome. Then your friend says, I finished a big project today. You say, good job, nice work. That's exactly how Americans react in casual conversations. Now let's move into some phrases that are extremely useful in emergencies and health-related situations. These might not be phrases you use every single day, but they are words you'll be very thankful to know when you need them. One of the most important phrases is, I need help. This is short, direct, and very clear. Repeat after me. I need help. Good. Another very urgent phrase is, call 911. In America, 911 is the emergency number for police, fire, and medical help. Repeat with me. Call 911. Excellent. Another phrase you might need is, I don't feel well. Americans use this often when they are sick or uncomfortable. Repeat after me. I don't feel well. Good. Another variation is, I feel sick. Try that too. I feel sick. If you want to be more specific, you can say, I have a headache, or I have a stomach ache. Practice with me. I have a headache. I have a stomach ache. Great. Now, let's look at what you might say at the doctor's office. One very common phrase is, I need to see a doctor. Repeat after me. I need to see a doctor. Good. Another useful phrase is, can I make an appointment? This is what you say when calling a clinic or office. Practice that. Can I make an appointment? Excellent. And when you go to the pharmacy, a phrase you'll hear often is, do you have medicine for? For example, do you have medicine for a cough? Repeat that. Do you have medicine for a cough? Good. Another is, how often should I take this? Which is what you ask about medicine. Repeat after me. How often should I take this? Now, let's practice a short doctor's office dialogue. You say, hello, I need to see a doctor. The receptionist replies, sure, do you have an appointment? You say, no, can I make an appointment? The receptionist says, yes, we can schedule you for tomorrow. That's a very real, everyday exchange. In emergencies, Americans also use short, quick phrases like, watch out, or be careful. These are used when someone is in danger. Repeat with me. Watch out. Be careful. Excellent. Another phrase is, are you okay? You'll hear this whenever someone looks hurt or upset. Repeat after me. Are you okay? Good. And the reply might be, I'm fine, or I need help. Practice that too. I'm fine. I need help. Let's do a short practice role play. Imagine you see someone trip. You say, are you okay? The person replies, I'm fine, thanks. Another one. You see a car oming too fast. You shout, watch out! These are very real phrases that can make a big difference in daily life. Now let's also cover some polite phrases used in sensitive situations. A very common one is, get well soon. Americans say this when someone is sick. Repeat with me. Get well soon. Good. Another phrase is, take care of yourself. This is warm and caring. Repeat that. Take care of yourself. And when someone is in pain, you can say, I hope you feel better. Repeat with me. I hope you feel better. Excellent. Now let's move into phrases related to safety. One important one is, where is the nearest hospital? Repeat with me. Where is the nearest hospital? Good. Another is, where is the nearest pharmacy? Repeat that too. Where is the nearest pharmacy? And if you need urgent help, you can say, can you call a doctor? Or, can you call an ambulance? Repeat those. Can you call a doctor? Can you call an ambulance? Excellent. Let's build a final practice scene for emergencies. You're feeling very sick. You say, I don't feel well. I need to see a doctor. Your friend replies, okay, I'll call a doctor for you. Later at the clinic, you ask, can I make an appointment? The receptionist says, yes, of course. Then you say, thank you. And they reply, you're welcome. Get well soon. This is exactly how everyday American English works in health situations. Now, let's move into the language of technology, phone calls, and online conversations. Because so much of daily life now happens on phones and computers, these phrases are some of the most useful you can learn. One of the most common phrases on the phone is, can you hear me? Americans use this all the time, especially when the signal isn't clear. Repeat after me. Can you hear me? Good. And the reply is usually, yes, I can hear you, or no, you're breaking up. Another important phrase is, hold on a second. This means wait a short time. For example, hold on a second, I'll get a pen. Repeat with me, hold on a second. Excellent. And when you want someone to wait on the phone, you might also say, can you hold, please? This is very common in American phone calls, especially with customer service. Practice that too. Can you hold, please? Now let's try a quick role play. I say, hello, can you hear me? You reply, yes, I can hear you. Then I say, hold on a second, I'll check my calendar. That's exactly how real phone calls sound. Another common phone phrase is, I'll call you back. This means you will return the call later. Repeat with me. I'll call you back. Good. You can also say, can I call you later? Repeat that too. Can I call you later? Excellent. When leaving a message, a useful phrase is, please leave a message. For example, voicemail usually says, I'm not available right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Repeat with me. Please leave a message. Good. Now let's move into texting and online phrases. A very common one is, what's up? This is used in messages just like in spoken English. Repeat after me. What's up? Good. And a short reply is, not much, or just chilling. Another online phrase is, I'll text you, or I'll message you. Repeat with me. I'll text you. I'll message you. Excellent. And when you receive a message, a polite reply is, got it, thanks. Practice that too. Got it, thanks. Now let's add a few technology support phrases. One very common one is, It's not working. Americans use this when something is broken or not functioning. For example, my phone is not working. Repeat that with me. It's not working. Good. Another is, I can't log in. This is very common with apps or websites. Repeat after me. I can't log in. Excellent. And a related phrase is, I forgot my password. Repeat that. I forgot my password. And of course, when something is fixed, you can say, it's working now, or I fixed it. Repeat those. It's working now. I fixed it. Let's try another practice dialogue. You say, Hi, my computer is not working. The tech support person replies, Can you restart it? You say, Okay. Oh, it's working now. Thanks. That's a very real everyday exchange. Now let's move into phrases people use when making plans with phones or online. One of the most common is, let's meet up. Repeat with me. Let's meet up. Good. And another is, I'll send you the details. Repeat that too. I'll send you the details. Excellent. And when confirming plans, people often text, see you then, or sounds good. Repeat those with me. See you then. Sounds good? Now let's practice with a texting role play. I text you, want to meet tomorrow? You reply, sure, what time? I say, at 5 p.m. You reply, sounds good. See you then. That's exactly how casual American texting looks and sounds. Finally, let's add a couple of phrases for online meetings or video calls. A very common one is, you're on mute. This is something people say when someone is speaking but their microphone is off. Repeat after me. You're on mute. Good. And another is, let's start the meeting. Practice that too. Let's start the meeting. Now one last quick role play. In an online class, I say, hello, can you hear me? You reply, yes, I can hear you. Then I say, great, let's start the meeting. This is very real modern English you'll hear every day. Now let's explore some very common phrases Americans use when traveling, at airports, hotels, and during vacations. These are extremely practical because they come up again and again whenever you travel in the United States or abroad. At the airport, one of the most common phrases you'll hear is, where is the check-in counter? Repeat after me, where is the check-in counter? Good. Another very useful phrase is, can I see your passport? You'll hear this from airline staff. And your reply is, here you go. Repeat that too. Here you go. Excellent. Another very common question at the airport is, what time is boarding? Repeat with me. What time is boarding? Good. And the reply might be, boarding starts at 6 p.m. Another phrase you'll hear is, where is my gate? Practice that. Where is my gate? On the plane, flight attendants often ask, chicken or beef? Or, would you like something to drink? Your reply might be, I'll have chicken, please, or water, please. Practice with me. I'll have chicken, please. Water, please. Perfect. Now let's move to hotels. When checking in, one of the first things you'll say is, I have a reservation. Repeat after me. I have a reservation. Good. And the receptionist might ask, can I see your ID? You reply, sure, here it is. Practice that too. Sure, here it is. Another useful hotel phrase is, what time is checkout? Repeat that with me. What time is checkout? Excellent. And the reply might be, checkout is at 11 a.m. Another phrase is, can I get a wake-up call? This means you want the hotel to call your room to wake you up. Repeat with me. Can I get a wake-up call? And if you need something, a very polite phrase is, can I have extra towels, please? Repeat that. Can I have extra towels, please? Good. Another one is the air conditioner isn't working or the TV isn't working. Repeat those. The air conditioner isn't working. The TV isn't working. Now, let's practice a short hotel role play. You say, "Hi, I have a reservation." The receptionist replies, "Welcome. Can I see your ID?" You answer, "Sure, here it is." Then you ask, "What time is check out?" They reply, "Checkout is at 11 a.m." Perfect. That's exactly how American hotel conversations sound. Now let's talk about phrases for sightseeing and vacations. A very common one is, where is the nearest restaurant? Repeat with me. Where is the nearest restaurant? Good. Another is, how much is the ticket? For example, when buying tickets for a museum, practice that too. How much is the ticket? Another phrase you'll hear often is, what time does it open? And what time does it close? Repeat those with me. What time does it open? What time does it close? Excellent. If you need directions, you can ask, can you show me on the map? Repeat that. Can you show me on the map? Good. And the reply might be, sure, it's right here. Now let's build a short vacation role play. You're at a museum. You ask, how much is the ticket? The clerk says, it's $10. You ask, what time do you close? They reply, we close at 5 p.m. Then you say, thank you. And they say, you're welcome. Enjoy your visit. Perfect everyday English. When traveling, you'll also often ask, do you speak English? Repeat with me. Do you speak English? Good. And if someone asks you that, you can reply, yes, a little. Practice that too. Yes, a little. Another travel phrase is, can you take a picture of us? Americans ask this a lot when visiting tourist places. Repeat after me. Can you take a picture of us? Excellent. And the reply from a stranger is usually, sure, no problem. And finally, let's add, how far is it? This is very common when asking about distances. For example, how far is it to the beach? Repeat that. How far is it to the beach? Good. Let's practice one more travel role play. You're in a new city. You ask, where is the nearest bus stop? A stranger replies, it's around the corner. You ask, how far is it to the train station? They reply, about 10 minutes. Then you say, thanks a lot. And they answer, no problem. That's very natural daily travel English. Now let's finish with phrases that Americans use in social life when meeting neighbors, going to parties, or talking in the community. These are the phrases that really make you feel connected and part of everyday life. One of the most common things to say to a neighbor is, how are you doing? It's just another way of asking, how are you? Repeat with me, how are you doing? Good. And the reply is usually short, like, I'm doing well, thanks. How about you? Another friendly phrase is, it's nice to see you. You might say this when you run into someone you know in the neighborhood. Repeat after me. It's nice to see you. Excellent. And the reply is, nice to see you too. Now, when you meet someone new at a party, one of the first things you say is, what's your name? Repeat with me. What's your name? Good. And the reply might be, my name is Sarah. Then you can say, nice to meet you. And they will reply, Nice to meet you too. Another phrase Americans use often in social settings is, "Where are you from?" This is a common small talk question. Repeat with me, "Where are you from?" Great. And the reply might be, "I'm from New York," or "I'm from Chicago." Practice that too. "I'm from New York." At parties, one phrase you'll hear constantly is, "Do you want something to drink?" Or, "Can I get you something?" Repeat those with me. Do you want something to drink? Can I get you something? Excellent. And the polite replies are, "Yes, please," or "No, thanks." Another friendly question is, "What do you do for fun?" This is a very American way of asking about hobbies. Repeat after me. What do you do for fun? Good. And you can answer, "I like reading," or "I play basketball," or "I watch movies." Now let's add some very common phrases for showing interest in conversation. Phrases like, "Really? That's interesting. Tell me more." Americans use these all the time to keep conversations going. Repeat them with me. "Really? That's interesting. Tell me more." Excellent. Another friendly phrase is, "That sounds fun." For example, if someone says, "I went hiking yesterday," you reply, "That sounds fun." Practice that. That sounds fun. Good. Now let's build a quick party role play. I say, "Hi, what's your name?" You reply, "My name is John." I say, "Nice to meet you." You say, "Nice to meet you too." Then I ask, "Where are you from?" You reply, "I'm from Los Angeles." Then I say, "That's interesting. What do you do for fun?" You reply, "I like playing guitar." I say, "Really? That sounds fun." That's exactly how American party conversations go. Now let's look at some polite ways to end social conversations. A very common one is, "It was nice talking to you." Repeat with me. "It was nice talking to you." Good. And the reply is usually, "Nice talking to you too." Another phrase is, "Let's keep in touch." Repeat that. "Let's keep in touch." And if you're leaving, you can say, "I've got to go," or "I should get going." Repeat those. "I've got to go." "I should get going." And the reply might be, "Okay, see you later." Now let's add some neighborhood phrases. A very common one is, "Have a nice day." We practiced this earlier, but you'll hear it constantly from neighbors, shopkeepers, and strangers. Repeat it again with me. "Have a nice day." And the natural reply is, "Thanks, you too." Another one is, "See you around." This is very common among neighbors. It means you'll probably see each other again soon. Repeat that. "See you around." Good. Now, let's practice a short neighborhood role play. You meet your neighbor. They say, "Hi, how are you doing?" You reply, "I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?" They say, "Pretty good. Well, see you around." You answer, "See you around. Have a nice day." Perfect. Finally, let's add a couple of very American social expressions that show friendliness. One is, "Make yourself at home." People say this when welcoming guests. Repeat with me. "Make yourself at home." Good. Another is, "Help yourself." For example, if there's food or drinks at a party, the host might say, "Help yourself." Repeat that too. "Help yourself." Now let's do one last role play together. You arrive at a friend's house. They say, "Welcome, come in. Make yourself at home." You reply, "Thanks." Then they say, "There are snacks in the kitchen. Help yourself." You say, "Okay, thank you." That's exactly how everyday American English works in real social life. So now you've practiced 225 everyday English words and phrases that Americans use constantly. From greetings, shopping, work, home life, travel, health, and social situations, you've learned the exact expressions that make conversations natural, confident, and fluent. The more you repeat them, the more automatic they will become. Remember, practice is the key to fluency. So go back, listen again, repeat after me, and try using these words in your daily life. Over time, they will become part of your natural English, and you'll speak more easily and with more confidence. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep coming back to English. In minutes for more lessons. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future lessons. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.